Banning local religions. The Abbey sure knows how to oppress the populace.
I'd imagine that comes part and parcel with spreading the good word. Other gods would only get in the way.
From what we overheard, it sounds like they've taken over Amenoch's temple, Palamedes, to use as their base of operations.
Sealing it off would be provocative enough. But straight up taking it over? Not a lot of so-called reason to that. Unless... Do you think they need it for some other purpose?
Shrug. What connection do you think there is between the violent demon Teresa mentioned and this village?
Couldn't tell you.
Could there have been a demon blight breakout here? This village doesn't look like it's been attacked, but...
Whatever it is. If it keeps the Abbey's eyes off us for once, that's good enough for me.
You really will use anything and everything towards your own aims, won't you?
Yep, and that includes you. As I'm sure you've noticed.
So she digs being called teacher. Well played, Laphicet.
She wasn't so fond of ma'am, so I guess he figured he needed an alternative.
You can tell how badly he wanted to help her with the languagey work. I think our Malak boy's finally finding himself.
So it would seem.
Languagey work. What the hell's that? I don't think that's a word. Is it a word? Am I gonna get my ass blown out in the comments because languagey is actually a word?
It sounds like deciphering the text might take some time.
We should be prepared to wait it out here a while. Hopefully it'll all be worth it in the end.
I hope so too. But ancient Avarost is complex. It's not just a matter of knowing the grammar and vocabulary.
Oh? Then how exactly do you read it?
I'm not sure about the specifics myself, but from what I understand, you kind of have to intuit a lot of it.
A language based on guesswork? Thanks, old dead people. You're officially the worst.
What?
Oh, ancient Avarost. You have the obstinacy of a spurned lover who refuses to move on.
Even for you, teacher?
It's this one crucial line. I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, from what you've taught me so far, it looks like it says... Sa, Popo, Mucho, Sanchon.
Is that Spanish?
Correct, but if you merely translate it word for word, it ends up saying, the parent hates tomatoes, the child eggplants.
I doubt those have much to do with Innominat. Yeah.
Their grammar is nothing like ours. Sometimes you have to reorder the words, and even then the meaning can require leaps of logic and flashes of intuition.
Reordering? So like... San-san, Pocho Pocho, Pocho Musan, Pocho Musan. Can you read it that way?
Pocho Muson. Now where did you get that from?
These words are lined up, like they repeat. And when I read this part that same way, it just felt right.
Pocho Muson. If that's repeated here, then the passage turns into... the nameless Empyrean.
Empyrean!
Ho ho, that has to refer to Innominat. I think we're on to something. Alright, so if we apply this rule here, then... It would seem to be a book of children's counting songs.
It's not about Innominat?
What matters is what the song says, child. And I think you will be very interested in the words.
I wonder if they've made any progress yet.
Shall we go check on them?
Yeah. Where? Ah, there we go. It was all turned around. Hello, are you done?
Well, Any results?
Yes. Well, thanks to the boy here. As it turns out, he has quite the knack for languages.
Only because I've got the best teacher.
Careful, honey tongue. You'll give this old girl ideas.
Huh?
Now,
What?
child, I'm sure they're curious about the song we unearthed. Why don't you read it aloud?
Yes, teacher.
Song?
8-headed is the lord of the land, with 7 mouths to devour malevolence. Through pulses of earth doth base nature's flow, as he awaits the time of awakening. 4 Empyreans may tear him asunder, but so long as there is one receptive to divine power, Therians shall be forever reborn, in sight of the full crimson moon. The nameless Empyrean hath one heart. The nameless Empyrean hath one body.
Therians?
Essentially, this ancient text you found is an annotated volume of drawings and songs pertaining to Enominat.
Annotated? Then hurry up and just tell us what it means.
I'm sorry. So far, we've only figured out how to read the song lyrics.
All right.
I take it we're still in for a good long wait before it's thoroughly decrypted.
Likely so, but if we want to find out what the Abbey is up to, we need to know what's in this book, no matter how long it takes.
What the Abbey's up to, is it?
I think we can learn much, even from the lyrics alone. The drawings depict him with 8 heads. One of them belongs to his main body, but the other 7 are his mouths. Those mouths consume malevolence, sending it along earth pulses back to that main body so he can awaken. The 7 monsters fitting that description are called...
Therians.
Right. Now as for this malevolence, I have no idea what that means.
What about the second part?
I haven't studied much ancient history, but it said this world was created by 4 Empyreans: earth, water, wind, and fire. But they also call Enominat an Empyrean. Perhaps a war broke out between Enominat and the other Empyreans that resulted in him being sealed away.
But if there is someone to connect with this divine power, the Therians will keep spawning. And just like that, Enominat will be revived. If we assume that Shepherd Artorius fits that bill, and that he's trying to reawaken Enominat, everything lines up.
Which means our job is to find these Therians and cut off Enominat's heads, so to speak.
But where do we even start looking for them?
Remember, the song states that the Therians in Enominat's body are connected through earth pulses. If their job is to feed Enominat, the most effective place to position them would be at the earth pulse points.
Points?
The places where the power of earth pulses is concentrated.
Places with that sigil. Hey, remember the barrier that was keeping this bug in the forest?
Yo, I just still got the bug. Look at this
Wait,
bug.
are you trying to say that thing's a Therian? And yet, it would explain why the Abbey was keeping it locked up.
Same with that bird then.
And there was that same barrier at the villa, too.
Yeah.
That's right. Do you suppose that was also a Therian? Does that mean the Therians all come in different forms?
Then that means Velvet's one then.
Should we go to Logres and check?
We've
She had
just started
said Therian
deciphering the
before,
book.
so I assume that's
I'd hate
the
to
same
lose time
thing.
on some fool's
That
errand.
she's one of the 7.
I'd rather know at least a little more about what's in it before we make a move.
Something bothering you, Grim?
This line, the one about Therians being forever reborn.
just felt the same thing as I did in Warg Forest.
What, water in space?
The needle's pointing in the direction of Aminoch's temple, Palamedes. Do I recall hearing that the Abbey took that over?
Temples and ritual sites are often built on places thought to be rich in spiritual energy. Could the temple possibly be an Earth Pulse point?
There's lots of Earth Pulse points scattered all over the world. If there's only 7 Therians, most of them will be empty.
It's not like we have any better leads. If there's even a chance, shouldn't we go check it out?
Better than sitting around waiting on the book. If nothing else, we'll find out what Laphicet is sensing.
Just a theory, but if you were to kill a Therian...
What?
I guess there's only one way to find out. Never mind. Good luck out there.
Alright, well, let's go. Probably gotta go fight something big. Over in, Palamedes. Where would that be? It would be top right exit.
Who are you?
The innkeeper's daughter. I happened to overhear you all talking about going to Palamedes, and...
Did you report us to the Abbey?
Report? But you already have an exorcist with you.
If you have any business, talk with her then.
I appreciate Velvet being on her guard so much that it makes her look retarded.
I'm Eleanor Hume, an exorcist with the Abbey. How might I be of service?
I want you to look for someone. A mother and her child went to visit the Abbey grounds, but they haven't returned.
They've both gone missing?
Yes. The mother's name is Mahina. She's a priestess of Aminoch. And her little daughter's name is Kamoana.
Hold on. If she's a priestess of Aminoch...
Right. Ever since the Abbey booted her out from the temple, she's been regularly going back to make her objections heard. But one day, she never returned home. And now her daughter has disappeared too. I can only assume that she went to go look for her mother.
And you believe they're being held at the temple?
Oh no, ma'am. I just can't imagine Mahina would abandon her daughter like that. Kamoana is next in line to succeed her, so she's had a strict upbringing, but her mother truly loves her. Please forgive Mahina for her protests. I was just hoping you could use the Abbey's resources to track them down.
I will do everything in my power to find them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Like Kamoana, I grew up with only my mother as family. I can't help but worry for them.
Of course.
Let's be off, Miss Exorcist.
No, seriously though, I find it so hilarious that it's like, you're with an exorcist right
Eleanor,
now. You probably don't
what's
need to
your
be
game
so
here?
overly
The mother and daughter, you
guarded.
mean? That's on me. I'll search for them myself.
I don't care about that.
Well, what then?
Why are you actively helping us decipher the book, when we're using it to thwart the Abbey's plans?
You think I might be deliberately misleading you? Laying a trap of some sort for you all?
Are you?
I think you're a lot of things, Demon. But foolish is not one of them. I want to know the truth. I want to know what Lord Artorias is trying to accomplish. And there's something happening in the world right now. I want to know what it is. Unfortunately, little old Eleanor has never been deemed trustworthy enough to be given such information. So, my only option is to find out for myself.
You've got the soul searching down at least.
The Abbey and your band of rogues follow two different paths, but something tells me either will lead me to the same destination.
And so you don't see any need to lie to us?
Exactly.
And what'll you do if those truths don't line up cleanly with what you believe?
I'm not sure yet.
As honest an answer as any. Either way, it looks like you'll be working with us for the near future.
Yes, for now.
Hey, could I ask you something?
What is it?
About the Therians. I've heard you call yourself a Therian before. Is there any particular insight you have about them?
No, none. Artorias said I was one, that's all.
And that doesn't bother you?
Does it bother you?
Nope, not at all. If you're not worried, then neither am I.
I'm surrounded by freaks. But was that truly the reason Ceres chose me?
Alright, so question here. I'm gonna ask a very important question to you guys, so... What we know is that we had a duel with Eleanor. Velvet did. Velvet's like, if I win, you must obey me. And obey all my orders. It's like, alright, simple. She now spends multiple cutscenes with pointless conversations that no one should care about. Suspecting Eleanor of betraying her, and why are you helping, and why are you doing all this that would help, and stuff like that. I have a question. I think everyone knows what this question's gonna be. If she formed a pact that cannot be severed, in which you must obey all of my orders, why doesn't she fucking order her to never lie, never disobey, and never do anything that would harm Velvet or her group? Why? Why? Why not do that? Because the answer that has come in my mind as to why she doesn't do that is because that would make sense. The Tales of is a series that has mastered the art of introducing a plot point and then not executing it well. Like they do it in every fucking recent game I've played of those. Of just like, here's this thing. It's like, okay, then this would happen, right? It's like, no. It's like, come on. If you're some sly, smart anti-hero character, maybe you'd be a little bit smarter. Just saying. Also, look at this stupid Kraken. Oh, look at you. We'll probably get a decent amount of cash for killing this thing. Alright, guard that. I like how you can just attack him from the back. No worries. Dodging some of these moves is actually pretty hard. Is this a soul? It is not. It's some... Oh yeah, it's some magic icon thing that she uses. Here, I was getting excited. Alright, we're a little more than halfway done. Gonna go ahead and switch. Oh no, it hurts. Damn it, I thought this kid had like 3 gauges. I guess they lowered during the fight. How dare they lower? There we go. Oh, that almost got the kill, too. What's this health at? 38? Yeah. We were close.
But I am the victor.
I wanted to win with, like, a cool super move, but no. And our expeditions return. And before anyone gives me crap,
Scout ship setting.
I'm not saying this game's bad or the story makes no sense. I'm just saying that Velvet is an idiot. She's overly cautious about everything, even though she clearly has advantages that would make it so she would be questioned less. If you take example, her being on guard against a villager, like, you didn't rat us out. It's like, well, why would I rat you out? You have a person right there, and she's like, oh, we'll leave it to them. I feel like there are important things here. She is a smart woman with a lot of advantages because she has control of Eleanor, right? And that she has, you know, the smarts, she has the skills, but unfortunately Velvet will always undermine.
This rocky shore just keeps going. Just don't step
She
on
will,
any sea.
Why not?
Okay.
It's just that it isn't pretty. Their insides squish everywhere.
Yikes. That's...
Then again,
Ugh.
if you pickle their innards, it makes for a great snack.
You eat them?
Oh, don't be a baby. You've had worse.
Forget the sea slugs. Try not to step on the coral.
Good point. Coral is alive and needs our protection.
God
Or
damn it.
maybe-
I didn't mean either of those reasons. Although Manon appears similar to Maclear Beach, it was formed by a completely different process.
Now that you mention it, this area is...
Maclear is just your average seashore. But Manon here was...
They were worn away by the wave?
that too. But mainly, it was the handiwork of a rock-eating species of coral, known as stay in contact long
Are you
enough
still
to melt
talking?
your flesh.
Ah, so that's why it tingles every time I touch the coral.
Why didn't you warn us earlier?
God damn it. So what I was saying is, Velvet is a very smart woman who has many advantages, and usually has the upper hand in a lot of situations, but it will always be undermined. She will always undermine herself without even thinking, because of a few things. One, because of her black and white outlook on all things, which, you know, is kind of dumb, but, you know, every character gets colored based on, you know, past experiences. But most importantly, she is desperate to sound cool. That is her most crippling flaw. Her character is desperate to sound edgy and cool with every conversation that she has. So she is basically forced to say things or do things that make absolutely no sense logically, but because she wants to say something to make herself feel like she won some sort of argument. And that's kind of what she has to contend with all the time. Like making fun of Eleanor, saying like, oh man, I can't believe you can see things, you know, beyond just black and white, good and evil, when she can't see that because she clearly passes off all exorcists as considering Moloch's tools and, you know, other stuff like that, so.
Laffy said, have you
It's
been taking
very,
care of that?
it's very interesting. But also, it also makes her look fucking retarded.
Rhino stag roast like a good boy? Of
Doesn't even
course.
mean I don't
How
like her or
long are you
anything,
going
but
to
it's like,
keep on
man, you're
calling
so,
it a rhino stag
things could be so
I
much
don't know.
easier for you.
You're asking a lot of questions. Duh! I love rhinoceros and stag beetles both! What
Stop
kind
talking
doesn't
about
fight?
bugs.
Right? So which kind of beetle do you think it is? Rhino or stag? Oh, that's a tough
I feel like
question.
Laffy said's voice is
But guess
inconsistent.
what? Miss Mogulu taught me a surefire way to tell. I didn't know there was a way to tell. Yeah. But
Like,
if I
sometimes
do
he
it,
sounds
run
a
me
little bit
after me,
deeper.
all right?
Sometimes he sounds a lot more girlish, you know?
The guy doesn't wish he had a cool bug named after himself, right? So what do you say, man to man? Come on, let's live the dream! Oh, all right. How can I say no to that? Besides, we all did work together to capture it anyway. Yay! Thanks, Laffy said. All right, show me the bug, and I'll tell you what it is. Miss Mogulu says you need to open up its outer wings and get a good whiff of the thin underwings.
I'm pretty sure I remember rhinoceros and stag beetles smelling really nasty under their wings.
Is it really that bad?
Why not find out for yourself?
Nah.
No thanks. I think I'll pass.
Maybe you shouldn't do this after all, Bienfu. You probably just want to hog the name all to yourself. Well,
Here we
too
go.
bad. If it packs a mean punch, then it's a rhinoceros beetle. And if it smells really zesty, then it's a stag beetle.
I don't know about this.
Just let him do it, Laphicet. He's already volunteered.
I can do this. Just you watch. This smell is the most bad thing that ever bad it.
Whoa! He fainted with his eyes still open. Hey, wake up!
No, that
Wake
means
up,
he's dead.
Bienfu. Miss Mogilu, as soon as I smelled it, my nose literally exploded.
He looks like he's having a bad dream.
Ah. Well, what's great is I've gone through Tales of games before and, like, not liked characters and, like, thought of them as, you know, some characters I just end up not liking. Velvet's a character I'm perfectly fine with, but then she'll say stuff and I'm like, why are you so stupid? Hey. It's like, you want to go up to her, hit her with a newspaper. Like, no. 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 Bad. Use your brain. You're not one of those women who just stays in the kitchen. You are a well-prepared, well-cultured woman. You need to start thinking about things properly. I'm gonna change her outfit. She shouldn't be wearing sandals in the middle of a beach. Did I just seriously fucking say that, by the way? Now hold on. Did I just fucking say that? You shouldn't be wearing sandals in a beach. Well, learn something new every day, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and escape this battle, just because I'm an idiot. These birds don't deserve to die because I'm too dumb. It's like her own dumbness is like wiping off. It's not that she's completely stupid. I mean, she shows a lot of tact and a lot of directness and some cunning that cannot be denied. That said, there's just a couple of things where it's like, man, you can really just take this if you just push the envelope a little bit more. But I kind of like throw that up to Tales writing, where I feel like they constantly like take a step towards something. Now, I was thinking about this when I was going to get some lunch today. Tales games, I feel like, always get really close to pushing the envelope with something and then not. Like Tales of Xillia 2 deals with the price of causing genocide of many people. Xillia 2 does, and it kind of just uses that as window dressing. It doesn't push the envelope, so it ends up being bad. Tales of Zestiria does a thing where they constantly try to tell you the price of being a shepherd in that game and being basically feared and ostracized while still having to be a hero, and it kind of tries to push that in like one or like maybe 1-2 scenes if I remember right, but doesn't really push the envelope or anything with it, which is disappointing because there's a lot there that you can actually get into. But it feels like Tales of games are a little bit more afraid or just don't have the chops to really push it to the complete limit, which tends to be disappointing, you know. And it's but these games are still good. From a story standpoint, they still have enough there to make you want to theory craft what what their full potential in your own personal opinion could be. Like, I think of that the same way with Zestiria or Xillia 2, with just like, changing one or two things could really bring you something really interesting, you know? Like, I have friends who really like Xillia 2 from a story standpoint, and I think that a lot of it's really trashy, just because I don't feel like it handles a lot of things well, but I can easily see that game handling some of its themes a bit better. It's just my problem is when you go halfway on anything and you don't go all the way,
Picking up on
it
anything?
bothers me a
Yeah,
little bit, you
in
know?
the direction of the temple. The feeling's getting stronger
Which is
now.
kind of why I'm mentioning the stuff that's going on with Velvet and ordering Eleanor around. She's doing it improperly. If she goes all the way, you know, that would leave no holes, you know. But I think that's just a way of, like, they want to keep the characters and what they're doing open, so that they don't trap themselves in the, oh, she couldn't act anyway on her own, and Velvet wasn't, you know, like this. But when she openly has conversations with her, it leaves the hole of, well, you should have done this anyway. So in the end, like, her taking an oath like that, I guess, was a solution to get her into the party now, but leaves some holes in the story and the writing that could, that leave something to be desired if the game keeps presenting those holes to you. I'm using this as a, I'm using this as a springboard to talk about this game's story and how it's handling some of the writing of the characters. Mostly because I don't have, you know, need something to talk about as we head toward a new area, you know. But I have to say, this game is doing pretty much everything right, and that's the closest thing to a wrong thing this game is doing. So, you know, take that as it is, which is both nitpicking and some critical thinking, because, you know, this game can do everything right, but I know it'll never 100% satisfy me in the writing and the story standpoints. There'll always be a couple of things that stick out at me. Because just that's the MO of the people making these games.
Velvet keeps picking on Madame Eleanor. They're total opposites, so I know they're just gonna clash sometimes, but Velvet takes it too far.
You really think they're totally opposite?
If Madame Eleanor is a white lily, then Velvet is a black rose. If Madame Eleanor is a soaring Pegasus, then Velvet is a wolf in the shadows. If Madame Eleanor is a plate of spaghetti carbonara, Velvet is squidding noodles with seaweed.
I don't follow you completely, but I think I get the point.
I'm sure you understand. The two have nothing at all in common. And since they don't share anything in common, some fighting now and then just can't be helped.
Well, they both have beautiful hair.
Okay, but we're talking a noble exorcist and an aloof demon.
Eleanor sometimes treats you coldly, and Velvet has helped me more times than I can count.
Madame Eleanor gives herself fully to the salvation of others, but Velvet is bent solely on revenge.
That means they're both motivated by thoughts of others.
How is the cheerful and talkative Madame Eleanor at all the same as the brooding, taciturn Velvet?
Both of them talk to me when it's just the two of us together.
You're just trying to be contrary.
I'm only telling you what I've experienced.
Actually, I feel that Madame Eleanor isn't really reaching out to me.
It's all right if Eleanor doesn't want to talk to you. I'm here for you, Bienfu. You aren't alone.
That just makes me feel lonelier.
You two are opposites yourselves.
Huh?
I spy with my little eyes a kiddo who's spying at my bewitching waist.
Oh, sorry. I just couldn't help it. What are those books anyway?
Oh my god.
That's a great question. Since you asked, I'll reveal the secrets of my tomes just for you. On the right, I've got my household ledger in the back, and my magic encyclopedia in the front. That one I mostly use for oil blotting paper.
What's oil blotting paper?
It's a girl thing. The two on the left are my heavy book, which I use for flower pressings, and then my super pop-up book.
A super pop-up book?
When you open it, it pops out with the force of a raging river! When an enemy has me cornered, I can just open it up facing a nearby wall and pop! Instant getaway! The only downside is that it's a real pain to try to get closed again, so I haven't used it in years.
What about the book right in front?
That's actually layer cake.
Whoa, really?
Seared into its batter are precious bits of knowledge. Eating it is just as good for your brain as it is for your stomach.
Wow! I had no idea that was possible.
He's taking this so seriously, I almost feel bad.
All of your books are so interesting, Moggy Lou. That's really cool.
There's no end to your curiosity, is there? What do you say? Want to take a closer look?
Boy, would I.
If you really do, then say, Moggy Lou, I want to get to know you better.
Moggy Lou, I want to get to know you better.
All right, I accept. I'll reveal to you my most private secrets.
Jesus!
Wow, so that's what's on the other side of these books. I wouldn't have ever guessed that.
What the? What are you doing with Laphicet?
He said he wanted to see, so I'm showing him. You have no right to stand in the way of his desires.
It's my job to protect him as his vessel, especially from someone so wicked as yourself. Also, what you're doing runs contrary to public decency.
Witches aren't supposed to be decent.
These bindings with the locks on them. This style used to be really popular during the Meliodas dynasty.
Now that I know you're such a bad influence for him, I'll be keeping a closer eye on you.
If you can't learn to take it easy, nobody's ever gonna want to marry you, you know.
Like you're a shining example of marriage material yourself.
Hey, Moggy Lou, could you turn them over one more time? I want to see how the book's attached to your belt.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Moggy Lou, I was wondering about that book you have on your waist. The one you called your heavy book, for flower pressings.
Your curiosity truly knows no bounds, does it, kiddo? Okay, nobody else knows this, but since you're so interested, I'd hate to leave you hanging. My heavy book, the one I use for flower pressings, is none other than a collection of Bienfu's poetry.
Bienfu likes to write poems?
Yep. You'd never guess it, but he's actually just about the best Moloch poet around. Some people even call him the Great Norman Poet. Here, I'll read you my favorite one. If there is something unimportant happening to the east, I'm made to go there and back. If there is something unimportant happening to the west, I'm made to go there and back. I can never rest nor be at peace. Every day my life is a living hell.
That's heavy stuff.
Isn't it? That's what makes it so good for pressing flowers. It's so wonderfully, oppressively heavy.
Moggy Lou, your face has gone all sinister looking.